It is 30,000 years ago. Your camp is quiet. The fire is low. Everyone is asleep except you. And at the edge of the firelight, just at the border between safe and dangerous, there is a wolf, looking at you. Not growling, not advancing, just watching. You have two choices. You can throw something at it and drive it away, or you can do nothing, leave it alone. And in that moment of doing nothing, of tolerating something that should terrify you, you accidentally start a process that will change both species forever. Today, this is one of the strongest scientific explanations for how dogs first appeared, and the real story is nothing like what most people assume. The popular version goes like this. Early humans found wolf puppies, raised them, bred them selectively over generations, and slowly, deliberately, turned them into dogs. It sounds reasonable. It is almost certainly wrong. Here's the problem. Wolves raised from birth by humans, hand-fed, socialized from their first days of life, given every possible opportunity to bond, remain wolves. Researchers at the Wolf Science Center in Austria have been studying hand-raised wolves for decades. These wolves know their human handlers, trust them, play with them, but they do not become dogs. They do not follow human pointing gestures the way dogs do. They do not read human faces the way dogs do. Something fundamental is different, and it was not put there by humans. Here is what the genetics actually tell us. Ancient DNA completely changed the story. Instead of one origin, evidence suggests dogs may have appeared more than once in different parts of the world, independently, which means the process that created dogs was not a single human decision. It happened on its own, more than once, in multiple places. The current leading hypothesis, supported by researchers including evolutionary biologist Brian Hare at Duke University, is that dogs were not domesticated by humans at all. Dogs domesticated themselves. Here is how that likely worked. Wolves are not a single uniform population. Like humans, individual wolves vary in temperament. Some are bolder, some more fearful, some more aggressive toward unfamiliar things, and some, a small minority, are slightly less afraid of humans than the average wolf. When early human settlements began producing reliable waste, food scraps, discarded bones, organic refuse, these slightly less fearful wolves had an advantage. They could approach closer, eat more, survive better, reproduce more successfully. Their slightly less fearful offspring could approach even closer. Generation after generation, the wolves that tolerated human proximity survived better than those that fled. Not because humans chose them, not because humans bred them selectively, simply because being slightly less afraid of humans had become, in that environment, a survival advantage. Selection was happening. But humans were not doing the selecting. The wolves were selecting themselves. And then something remarkable happened. As these wolves became less afraid of humans, they began to change physically. This is documented in one of the most famous experiments in animal behavior. Beginning in 1959, Soviet geneticist Dmitry Belyaev began selectively breeding silver foxes purely for one trait: tameness, not appearance, not size, not color, just tameness. Within 10 generations, fewer than 60 years, the foxes began changing in ways nobody predicted. Their ears became floppier, their tails began to curl, their coats developed patches of white, their faces became rounder, more juvenile-looking. Their stress hormone levels dropped. They began seeking human attention, wagging their tails. Nobody selected for any of these traits. They appeared automatically, as a package that comes with tameness. Belyaev called it a suite of domestication traits, and the same suite appears in dogs. Floppy ears, curly tails, patchy coats, juvenile facial features, reduced stress responses, the same cluster of changes, appearing together for the same underlying reason. When you select for reduced fear, you get an entirely different animal. But there is one more piece, the most remarkable one. Dogs do something no other animal on Earth can do with the same reliability. They read human faces. Specifically, Dogs follow the direction of human gaze. They understand when a human points at something. They look to human faces for emotional information. Even wolves raised alongside humans from birth cannot do this reliably. But dogs, including dogs that have had almost no individual contact with specific humans, can do it naturally, instinctively, from a very young age. Multiple research teams have found that dogs process human faces in remarkably specialized ways, not the way wolves do. At some point during the process of becoming less afraid of us, dogs began seeing us the way we see each other. This is what happened at that campfire 30,000 years ago. Not a human choosing a wolf choosing proximity. Generation by generation, the wolves that could tolerate the fire, tolerate the smell, tolerate the strange, upright creatures on the other side, those wolves ate better, survived winter better, lived longer, had more offspring, and their offspring were slightly better at all of it. And somewhere in that long, slow process, something shifted. The wolf that sat at the edge of the firelight stopped being a wolf that tolerated humans and became something else entirely, something that wanted to be there, something that looked at a human face and understood what it saw. By the time any human decided to actively breed dogs for specific traits, it was already too late. The dogs had already decided. Today, 10,000 generations removed from that first fire, you can look at a dog across a room, point at something, and watch it understand you. Not because you trained it, not because it learned, because somewhere inside it is the legacy of the wolves that chose curiosity over fear. Every dog that has ever lived is the descendant of the ones that were not afraid. And every time a dog looks at your face, reads your expression, follows your gaze, checks your mood before deciding what to do next, it is doing something its wolf ancestors could never do. It learned to see us, long before we knew we were worth seeing.